Morning from Seattle, Washington. It's time for Coffee and Cosmos with Robyn. So welcome. My name is Robyn Fritz. I'm an intuitive and spiritual consultant and certified past life regression specialist based in Seattle, Washington. And today I'm going to take quick live intuitive readings for listeners. And I'm also going to chat a little bit about what our spiritual team's first job is. I did a Facebook Live a few weeks ago on spirit guides and had some interesting feedback from people on their experiences with their guides, which is wonderful. So welcome again. My name is Robyn Fritz. Today, I would really like to take some questions from people looking at intuitive insight for you, but this is also a community, so I would love it if you chime in and say hello and let us know where you are today. So welcome. We're good here in Seattle. It is almost like winter here, very dark day, and I actually like the dark days. They, really make you want to dig in and work, but I know most people prefer sunshine. So again, today I'm going to take readings from people. I'm going to talk about what our spiritual team's first job is. We're going to have a crystal of the week. But first, as in every week that we're here with you, we'd like to help you get grounded and balanced here in this space with us. This is your time to be in community, to feel connected to people all over the world that are interested in mind, body, spirit subjects who know how important it is to grow our soul. So here's your space, thanks to Humanity Healing and Om Times. And this is Fallon. Fallon is citrine Lemurian quartz. And if you just take your attention to the top of your head and just breathe in, you can feel the connection to him however your intuition works most strongly. So you may see pictures, hear him chat with you, feel his energy, or just know you're connected. And allow this time to help you just free up the cares of the day, relax, and be here in this space with us. So you take a deep breath and then exhale and take your attention to the top of your head. Just breathe down your body, head to toe, and just feel that energy connecting and helping get you balanced and grounded and just clear out all of the busyness of the day. So breathing down from the top of your head, down your face, your throat, your shoulders, chest, hips, knees, and feet. So the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And now reverse that from your feet up past your knees, your hips, your chest, your shoulders, your throat, your ability to speak your truth, your face, and the top of your head. So oftentimes in these broadcasts or even in sessions with people with Fallon, you'll feel the top of your head, your crown chakra, you might feel a little lightheaded. That's a good sign that you're connected to this energy. So again, welcome today. I'm happy to be here with you. I try to be here every Monday at 11 Pacific time. And I do want to take some intuitive questions from you. So please chime in. Also chime in from where you're joining us from today. First, I want to go back to a couple of weeks ago where I did a broadcast on who our spirit guides are, what they are, and how they work for us. And I know when I first heard about spirit guides, it kind of like, what the heck? Because I grew up in Catholic tradition and we had guardian angels. But our spiritual teams are very real. Over the years of my professional work as an intuitive and spiritual consultant, I meet with the teams of my clients, both human and animals, and they're fascinating beings. But here's the thing that I really want to emphasize about spirit guides and our spiritual teams. They're there to work for you. Unfortunately, they're not going to keep you from making a mistake. I'm always telling them, I said, if you're my spiritual team, keep me from goofing up. And that's our job, to be on the ball, to learn from our mistakes, to grow from every experience that we have. And our spiritual team is there to help us evolve, mind, body, and spirit, to help us evolve spiritually. So no, they're not going to, push you out of the way of a speeding bus, because they can't, but they will be able to help you deal with life's issues by being your support, and by your being able to tune into them. You can feel their support, you can know they're supporting you, might even be able to hear them advising you. But one big caution I would make to you is that if you are working with beings that you think are your spiritual team, you need to make sure they're working with you 24/7, especially if you're feeling like you're not being supported, because sometimes they're not really there doing their job, and you need to really work on having that connection with them. So having that one-on-one relationship with a primary spirit guide, and or a relationship with your team. Everyone has a guide, everyone has a spiritual team. So don't feel like you're left out if you can't hear yours. It's just a way of communicating with them. But be careful and be discerning, because sometimes the beings that may want to talk with you are not your team. So, learn to understand who they are and how they're supporting you. And if one of them wants to talk through your body, that's not a spirit guide, right? That's something else. So we can cover this in more detail in other shows if you'd like. But I just wanted to respond to wonderful emails about people's experiences with their teams. And it is so awesome when people really connect with their team and really know that their team is there supporting them. I just want you to be discerning and ask them, are you here for my best good? Are you here for my welfare? And listen to the answer, because sometimes they're just there learning, and sometimes they're not your team. So, excuse me, I think I'm going to sneeze here. Everything live, right? Okay, so let's see if I can get through the rest of this without sneezing. So, Terry Loveheart, you're asking if a move to the country would be good for you. Immediate yes to that. But as a side note to that, Terry, it's a question of, are you moving towards something or away from something? So the question there is, we can always, and this actually is relevant to me as well, because I feel lately a strong desire to move to the Oregon coast, where I spent a lot of time growing up as a child, and I live in a major metropolitan area, Seattle, Washington. And the question for me and the question for you is, are you going towards something that will help boost you up mind, body, and spirit? Or are you avoiding something in your life that is bothering you right now, and that you feel like you need a fresh start? Because our fresh starts really start with us internally. It's like, what is it that is affecting me? And this is a question for you to ask yourself. What is affecting me? How can I deal with it? And what steps can I take in the current place that I live to be the best that I can be? And you may find that you're perfectly fine where you are. Although, yes, moving to the country would be good, if it's fresher air. If you feel like you need to look out the window and see wide open spaces as opposed to the neighbor's building. So check out all of those things, and, check back with us and let us know how you're doing on that, and let me know. And Shumali just had a question mark there, so I'm not sure what your question is, but hi, and thanks for chiming in. Kim too, and Melinda from California, someone from England. Nancy, you feel really connected today. That's awesome. So if you're still here on the broadcast, Nancy, why do you feel connected today? What's going on that really makes you feel good? Or is it, just the electronics are working today? Because sometimes my electronics aren't working. And someone from Amanda from England, Birmingham. I've never been there. I've been to England. Nancy from Texas. Rita Ventura, Pakistan. Humboldt. Kim Pope. Um, you're not sure who your guides are. Leonie Buck says it's dark there too. Wow, as far as dark weather is concerned, I think it was last winter or sometime, I noticed outside, and I live near the beach here in Seattle, how dark it was. And they later came and said on the news that it was one of the darkest days in winter that we've had in like a decade. So I guess it happens with the cloud cover and so on. And we've had one round of storms after another here in Seattle. So Kim is saying that she doesn't know who her guides are. Kim, you are not alone. A lot of people feel that way. And part of it is really our best connection with our guides comes from us really knowing how our intuition works and working with our intuition on a daily basis. And my response to that is the same as my mediumship clients who tell me that they talk to their dead all the time and they never hear their dead talking back to them. Or talking back as in speaking with them. And that's because their intuition works in a different way. So if your intuition works towards seeing people, seeing things or feelings, or even just knowing things, that's how you will first get to know your spiritual team. So I do have a webinar up at the Learn It Live platform, and I will look it up here. You can look at learnitlive.com and then type in my name, Robyn Fritz, ROBYNFRITZ. I do have a guided webinar with a quick meditation on connecting to your spiritual team, but it is a work in process, so to speak. So for a long time, I couldn't connect with my team either. And a lot of times it's easier to connect with other people's teams. Just like if you were learning to do animal communication, it's easier to talk with other people's animals because we're invested in our own stuff, right? And so it's hard to see past our own anxieties and our wishes and our dreams to have that connection. So Kim, you might try partnering with someone and getting in a quiet state, inviting each of your guides to your primary guide, say, to come and be by you, and seeing what your partner gets. And with that as a practice and a boost to you, that might help you learn to connect with them more closely on your own. It's partly that we're just not used to it anymore. And I know from doing past life regression that in the last 300 years, we as a human community around the world have cut ourselves off from our intuition because we're told that's not scientific or whatever. And so we need to catch up with who we were before, where it was easier to connect with our teams, with the angels, with the animals and the trees and the land around us. So being able to connect with your spirit guide is a way of just embracing your connection with all life. Invite them to come in, even ask them for a sign, saying, well, like tap me on the shoulder or something that will remind you that you're looking to connect with them more deeply. So I hope that helps you, Kim, and practice and see what that does for you. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Devin. Devin, where's that? England? Kim is in Memphis, Scotland, cold. Oh, I've been to Scotland. It is so beautiful. Kathleen, great. Cheryl, great. Thank you. Jamal, you know your guide. That's awesome. And that too can be very enlightening. And you can ask your guide to help you boost your intuition and see if that adds a little bit of boosting to your own intuitive interest. So Shamali, hi, see you're joining for the first time from Pakistan. hope I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't, but thank you for joining us. Pakistan is a long ways away from Seattle, Washington. So, Isabel, will I find employment that I can financially support myself on my own? And thank you for thanking me. I appreciate that. And sorry, I got distracted. Isabel, I'm going to come back to you. Kim is asking what's in the jars above the wall of the wall. Yes, lavender, Kim. It's a variety called Grosso, which is a long stemmed and a long lavender, whatever the tops of these are called, very long stem. And I keep it all over the house. Lavender is great for clearing. It's also one of the things that my cat doesn't eat as frequently as she would try to eat something else. But the scent of lavender I use, I just like to have it around me because I can't really have houseplants because my cat is very indiscriminate about her eating. So, Isabel, you wanted to ask about employment that you can financially support yourself on your own. That's going to take a lot of confidence on your part. It feels like you've been beaten down a lot in your desire to take care of yourself, that people have told you that you can't do that, that there's something lacking in you. And there isn't anything lacking in you. It's other people trying to, one, keep you from being disappointed because they're overprotective, and others are a little bit jealous and not wanting to let go of you, and they feel that you might be too independent if you can support yourself financially. So that requires you spending some time shoring yourself up, mind, body, and spirit, so that you believe that you are worthy of a job that will support you. And that's important in the world, that we can take care of ourselves. So build up your emotional support system, your interior system that tells you that, yes, you can do this, and yes, you're good enough. And it looks like you might have to cobble together a few jobs together in the meantime, like a few part-time things. And it looks a ways out, like doing that for the next year, but it feels like that will help you also establish your confidence. I mean, if you can juggle a couple of part-time jobs, you can sure handle a full-time job and the increasing responsibilities that you acquire as you advance in your knowledge and understanding of handling that job. So, Isabel, believe in yourself. This is a great opportunity to invite your spiritual team in to support you and to remind you how important you are to the world. Every single one of us has a job to do in the world. And that job, first and foremost, is to love ourselves so that we can fill our hearts up with this loving, healthy energy and allow that to go out into the world so that together we can all make a difference in the world. So, Isabel, your contribution is important. Now get back to us. I try to be here every Monday. Sometimes things come up and I can't be here, but get back to us. This is a community time. So I like it when people come back and share what their experiences are during the week or over time. But know that this community is here supporting you, which is awesome, right? That's what it's supposed to be. And Melinda Riley, are you healthy enough for spinal surgery? Or am I so healthy I really don't need it? Wow, okay. So that puts us all in a question of how you are feeling. So are you healthy enough for spinal surgery? If you're asking that question, you have serious doubts about that. And anyone who has doubts about something as important as surgery needs to step back and make sure that they are really confident in their medical team. And it's feeling like you might want to have a second opinion to examine that and then run that through your filters of what works best for you. And I always, in my own life and in the lives of my animals, I have a team of people that I work with. So I work with traditional doctors, our traditional allopathic doctors, but I also work with naturopaths and other chiropractor and other people, so that I can hear all of the different viewpoints. So And I'd also say that I grew up in a medical family. My dad was a pharmacist. That's a person who has a license to fill prescriptions and dispense drugs on prescription. So I firmly believe in the medical community, and a friend of mine's life was just saved a week ago because he reacted quickly to feeling really bad, and he needed life-saving surgery immediately, an emergency basis. And he's here with us today because he reacted promptly. So trust your instincts, sit down and spend some time, invite your spiritual team to support you. Write down your questions, pros and cons about the surgery. Go back to your team, and maybe you want to ask a question about getting another opinion. But let us know how that works and how you feel and how that goes for you. Um, so, Rita, you're in the midst of a huge jump. Any insights? Look on the other side before you jump. Make sure that the landing is soft. Um, it looks like you've got the huge big picture, and you need to fill in a few of the smaller pictures, like exactly where you're landing when you jump. Okay, what does that look like to you? And are you ready for that? Because it looks like it's a major change from where you are now, and you're interested in it because it's a major change, but it may not necessarily be exactly what you want or need right now. So think before you leap, right? And I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying run it through your filters and see that the big picture can narrow down to the specific steps of how that fits into your life. We need you to be your best. Catherine Gibbons, will your life improve? Boy, Catherine, you and I have a lot in common. I don't share this very much, but I've been handicapped for many years, and there were many years where I couldn't work at all because I was so physically ill. And in those years, that's where my spiritual team stepped in, where I reconnected with the intuitive abilities I had as a child and really started seeing the larger world around us. I don't want anybody to have to go through the health issues that I went through to becoming functioning as an intuitive and a healer, because we have all of those abilities within us already. You don't need to suffer to have those. So if you're suffering, find ways to boost yourself up. For me, at times, it was even just looking out the window and seeing the gulls flying by at the beach and knowing that the world was going to go on, even if I wasn't part of it. And there's some comfort in knowing the world will continue to go on. But continue to explore your options, your mind, body, spirit options. Continue to consult with your team. Continue to investigate areas that intrigue you, because you will continue to learn from that. And a question, Catherine, for you and for all of us, in the morning when we get up, crossing our hands over our hearts and inviting love and healing to come into us, and loving ourselves and saying, okay, I make a mistake, but I still love myself. That's the definition of unconditional love. And until we have that, we are always struggling to get better. And I learned that lesson the hard way. And that's why I'm out there doing what I'm doing professionally, so that other people don't have to learn the lessons that I learned the hard way. So, Catherine, you are learning great. Keep learning. Keep remembering, first and foremost, to love yourself. And that is not selfish. That is not ego. That's the first job that we have here, as we learn to grow our souls in our human bodies, learning to love ourselves, and therefore continuing to have experiences and to grow. So yes, your life will improve if you do that, because that's how it works. So love yourself, put yourself out there, do what it takes to take care of yourself, and keep moving forward. It took me over 30 years to get well enough to work again. So I know exactly what all of you who are suffering physical issues are going through. So you can do it. Shamali, tell you something about your future. Sorry, I accidentally unscrolled things here. Shamali, I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, but it's really a beautiful name. And you are moving forward. You have a lot of things that you're interested in, and some people say to you, well, you just are trying to do too many things at once. Don't listen to them, because you have this wide open curiosity, you have a bright mind, it's very quick, it moves in different directions, and that's awesome. You will find many things to intrigue you, many things that you could do to make a living, and explore those. Life is too short to not explore and to have fun. So don't let anybody tell you that what you're doing is not good because you're having fun, right? We're all supposed to be these sour people that aren't having any fun, but you are, and keep going for the things that intrigue you and have fun, because that is part of loving yourself and being a whole person. So we are out of time for today, but I will um, uh, Suni Blackwell, one last question. And good news for you this year. You've grown a lot this year, right? We're ending this year here soon. We're like at the end of October almost here. You've grown a lot this year, but you don't believe it. So the thing that you need to do is to sit down and write down, get a journal and write down all of the good things that happened this year. Then write down the tough things that happened, and write down what you learned from each of those things, good or tough, right? And you will find that you have been moving forward in a healthy, positive way, and that's going to be in your favor next year as things become more complicated for all of us. Next year is a pivotal year in the history of our planet, certainly in the history of many of the countries that currently exist on our planet. Um, so uh, shore up your own souls, bring in your spiritual team to support you, and get ready for a wild year coming up here. So I want to thank you for joining me today. I'll be back next week, and I will take questions every week, at least a couple questions every week. So if I didn't get to your question today, please come back next week and ask it next week. And again, my name is Robyn Fritz. I am an intuitive and spiritual consultant and a past life regression specialist. My practice is based in Seattle, Washington. I work worldwide. I offer personal and business intuition, mediumship, animal communication, space query, past life and between life regression, and a process I call soul progression clearing, which just clears out the blocks, no judgments made, and helps fill you up with healthy energy. So I'm also the host of the Om Times radio show, The Practical Intuitive Mind, Body, Spirit for the Real World. And it airs on the first and third Mondays of the month at 2 Pacific time, 5 Eastern. Today's show is pre-recorded. It's called The Unseen War. It will sound very out there for those of you who tune in. It took me a long time, over 10 years, to let this information out publicly. Not to scare you, but to help you see what's really going on in the world and what your role is in helping support the planet, our conscious evolving planet that we're all part of. So, I wanted to give you a crystal of the week. This is apophyllite, and I used it again for the spirit guide. And see how it's pyramidal shape? So while it looks like clear quartz and it has lots of planes in it, you'll recognize apophyllite even in clusters with that pyramidal shape. And so it's great for everyone who asked questions today. It's great to support us mind, body, and spirit, right? It also helps with clear thought and self-confidence, which we need. We're creating new jobs, or we're looking at the next year, or we're looking at health issues like some of you are looking at. Apophyllite is a good place to start. It's also good for connecting with your spiritual team, which is why I brought it up in the spirit guide video. But it also cleanses mind, body, and spirit. So it's a good one to have around you. So again, hands on your heart, take a deep breath, feel that positive, healthy energy. knowing that you can bring positive, healthy energy to yourself all day long. It's your right as a soul growing in this new experience in this human body. Thank you for joining me. Come back next week. If you have other questions, please contact me at my Facebook page, The Practical Intuitive. If you like this broadcast, please like that page and the Om Times and Humanities Healing page. And I'm soon starting a group page that I'll invite you to join up where we can have other conversations. But again, thank you, and we'll see you next week. Take care.